This conference will now be recorded.
So as we discussed yesterday, we were talking about freshers and then we were talking about experienced candidates in the job market. Point number one, the moment you complete your SAP FICO course, you have two options in front of you. Option number one, try to attend the interviews as a fresher candidate. Option number two, try attending the interviews as an experienced candidate. When you're talking about fresher, we are representing a fresh pass out. Majoritarily, when somebody talks about a fresher, we are representing a fresh pass out, either current year pass out, least last year pass out. If you are not a current year pass out or if you are not the last year pass out, we are not going to be considered as fresher. So you must show some experience. What kind of experience are we showing is a different story. Point number one, if you're already working on some other domain or some other technology, maybe as an end user or non-finance related profiles, point number one, you can project the same experience and then you can tell, okay, is my voice audible clearly or
It is clear, sir.
okay,
Yes, it's audible.
okay. So if somebody is not able to hear, just check your internet connection or try to rejoin. Okay, so when we are talking about experienced candidate, so your experience may be of different varieties in SAP FICO. Point number one, you may be talking about your genuine experience that you have currently or that you are currently working on. Point number two, you have not worked at all, but you want to show some experience. This kind of experiences, we call it as projected experiences. So I'm not using the other terminology, I'm using projected experience. So point number one, if you have no experience, you will project some experience. Point number three, you have worked already on SAP, you have worked already, but not on SAP FICO. Let's say your profile is related to some other technology, related to banking, accounting, or the BPO or any other related technology, but not relevant to SAP FICO. In this scenario also, you will be projecting some kind of experience. In short, it is fact that compared to fresher, you will have more job opportunities when you try with experience profile. So this is open fact in the market that if you want to get into SAP FICO especially, you must project some experience or you must show some experience. Nobody is going to bother about whether the experience that you are showing is valid or invalid. That is always a secondary. If you're talking about I am a 4.5-year experienced candidate in the market, make sure you are talking in such a way that you justify your experience. You talk in such a way that you justify your experience. On my profile, I am telling that I have 3 years of experience, but when I talk, nowhere I am relating that I have experience. So this is where people will get rejected in your interviews. You need to understand what is expected from you in your interview, what is expected from you in your interview, and what is the standard things that you have to know before you attend any interview. As we discussed yesterday, according to SAP 0 to 5 is entry level. This is your entry level in SAP. If you talk about 0 years to 5 years, this is entry level in SAP. Anything above 5, this is your experienced level. If you're showing anywhere between 0 to 5 year, this is by default treated as entry level profile. And anything that you're showing above 5 years, that is treated as experienced level profile. This is the standard approach in every organization for every interview of any SAP FICO job. These are open secrets which nobody will reveal it outside and you will not be telling it outside, right? Because that is how your consulting works. That is how your consulting works. Now, when we talk about consulting, you are going to become a SAP FICO consultant. You are planning to become SAP FICO consultant. Now, what you are going to do is you are going to provide your consulting services to a client. You are going to provide your consulting services to a client. No client will accept inexperienced consultant. Point number one, no client will accept inexperienced consultants. Let's say I am working for, let's say, some ABC consulting company. I'll talk about I am working for ABC consulting company, and ABC consulting company has a client, let's say XYZ is the client of ABC consulting. Now XYZ client will not directly hire or will not directly take SAP consultants. What XYZ client will do, he will ask or he will have a tie-up with different companies or different consultancies who will provide manpower to the respective project or the respective client. Let's say XYZ client is getting the resources from ABC Consulting. What ABC Consulting will do, ABC Consulting wants to source manpower, or ABC Consulting wants to produce SAP FICO consultants to the XYZ client. Now the client will tell, I need a candidate with 3 to 4 years of experience minimum, or he will tell, I need to have 5 to 8 years of experience, or above 8 years of experience, something like that they will tell. Something like this, they will have the experience criteria in the market. Now accordingly, ABC Consulting will look for the SAP profiles. What they will do, they want you to attend the interview, they want you to clear the interview, so that they can deploy you or they can appoint you in XYZ client of ABC Consulting. Now in this process there are a lot of factors that will determine. There is something called budget. When I talk about budget, for every job there is a budget. For every job there is a budget. When we talk about a budget, they will have this salary bracket. When I say salary bracket, if this is my experience criteria or if this is my requirement, I will say that I am able to pay something like 5 to 9 lakhs per annum is my budget. He will tell, I'll pay from 5 to 9 lakhs for the selected candidate. Now ABC Consulting, they will start looking for the profiles in the market. Now obviously when you talk about 0 to 4 years or 0 to 5 years, the kind or the level of profiles that you get, the level of candidates that you get are the similar, because nobody will have hands-on experience, but everybody will have experience on the paper. Every resume will show the experience. How far this experience is genuine, nobody knows, but this is the reality. This is how SAP consulting works. If you wanted to start your career in SAP, this is what you need to do. This is common. There is nothing called wrong in this. This is how everybody will start careers in SAP. Here what you need to do is, whatever the experience that you are showing, that may be a projection, but whatever the knowledge that you have, that is not a projected knowledge, that is your original genuine knowledge. So do not say that my knowledge is fake. Always say that your experience may not be original, your experience you are hiding, but your knowledge is original. Whatever the skill set, whatever the efforts, whatever the hard work that you have done on SAP FICO is genuine, and when you talk, the other person can realize, the other person can feel that yes, this candidate has subject, this candidate is skilled, he has a talent in him. Make sure you provide this kind of impact to the other person whosoever you interact with. Nobody is going to judge you based on your resume. Everybody is going to judge you, everybody is going to give a feedback based on your talking, based on your explanation, based on your convincing skill set. How you are talking about a particular topic, how you are answering the questions, how you are convincing the other person. This is what matters a lot in your interview. So never think about that I do not have the genuine experience. Nobody will have genuine experience in SAP because nobody is working straight away in SAP. Everybody will switch or migrate from non-SAP background or from the domain background to SAP. This is quite common. So you're not supposed to think this is something a crime that I'm doing. It is not like that. First point, you should remove this fear, scarcity from your mindset. This is quite common. Okay, so make sure when you attend the interview, 0 to 5 years is always entry level. When I say entry level, the kind of questions that you get, and the level of a treatment, the kind of work that you do once you join an organization. If you are showing a 0 year experience, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5, same work everybody will do. Same work everybody will do because this is the entry level in SAP. If somebody is telling that no, you have to do this, you have to do this, please check the person who is talking to you, the person who is explaining you all this, whether they are working on SAP FICO or not. Somebody who's telling you things, if they are not working on SAP FICO, please do not listen to them. Ignore whatever you hear from people who are not working practically on SAP FICO. This is quite common. Most of the people will listen to the rumors that are moving around. Somebody will tell that I heard that SAP FICO now there are no calls in the market. Many people will tell that currently there are no calls in the market. How do they know that there are no calls in the market? Are they controlling, operating all the interviewers, HRs? No, right? And then we tend to believe them, and then we start feeling low that currently there are no calls in the market. First of all, did you upload your resume on the portal? Are you updating on a daily basis? No, we are not doing any effort properly from our side, and whatever you listen from the outside, we start realizing that currently market is dull. So many things which are negativity. For these negativity things, for these things which will make you feel low, we get attracted. That thing should not be there. You must be very sure, you must be very confident about what is happening in the market. Make sure you get right updates from the right people, from the right sources. Somebody is telling something, don't believe in them blindly, because majoritarily you will get false information. Please do not believe in it. For SAP FICO, you will have calls, you will have job opportunities, job openings 365 days a year. If you do not believe it, just search SAP FICO jobs, see how many postings you will get on Google, Naukri, LinkedIn, Monster, TimesJob, whatever the portals you have. Check and then list out. The way you are approaching should be different. The way you are approaching to get a job is different. Normally what we all will do, we will create a resume. That resume is prepared incorrect way. The way your resume is prepared is incorrect. It is not convincing enough to get shortlisted. Even if somebody is shortlisting the resume, if they ask something, we are unable to explain our resume properly. We are unable to express ourselves properly about your skill set on SAP FICO, about your experience on SAP FICO. From the basic points, we will not be preparing in a proper way. And with this kind of a skill set, with this kind of preparation, it is practically very tough, difficult to get a break in SAP. We all feel that if I know the configuration, if I by heart transaction codes, I will be able to get a job. But that is wrong information that you hear from different sources. Do not believe in all these kind of things. If somebody is telling you the information, first check whether this person who is talking to you, is he working on SAP FICO or not. If he is working on SAP FICO, what he is telling may be correct. But if he is not working on SAP FICO, whatever he tells, just ignore it. Just ignore it. Say okay and then ignore it. The person who is not working on SAP FICO, whatever he tells, if you are believing to them, then you are a fool. That's it. If you are listening to somebody who is not working on SAP FICO, they are telling some negativity in your mind. No calls in the market, no openings. Somebody got selected and then they fired him. He lost his job. Why will somebody tell you all the negativity things? Right? You have to think practically. You have to be very practical. You have to be very realistic. Whatever you talk, whatever you see, whatever you think must be the same thing that is happening in the market. Only then it is possible for us to go and survive in the market. Otherwise, you will be shocked, you will be surprised once you are in the market with your resume. So this kind of shocking news, this kind of surprising things should not happen to you. At least you are not supposed to be in that list who will get surprised after attending the first interview, who will get surprised after seeing the real-time system for the first time. Please be not in that list. Make sure whatever is happening currently you're not working, that's it. But whatever you are practicing, whatever the information that you are knowing, gaining must be accurate, valid information. Now, if you go as fresher, if you go as experienced, as I said, it is the same. The way you are interviewed is the same. First of all, if you put your resume as a fresher candidate, calls you may get very less. I'm not saying that you will not get calls. I'm saying you will get less calls. Now there are companies, lot of startup companies who are hiring, who are recruiting freshers. Even fresh college pass outs of BTech, BCom, BSc, arts, all these kind of candidates are nowadays hired as SAP consultants. What they do, they hire from the colleges at bulk. Let's say from a college they hire around 20-30 candidates. Wherever there is a requirement, they have to learn or they have to get into that particular module. Let's say you are from commerce background, no rule that you may be working on FICO, you may be working on also, because initially wherever there is a requirement they might put you accordingly. According to you, you have no experience, you are a fresher. Whether it is FICO, whether it is whether it is SD, doesn't matter to you. Unless you show some interest that I am from commerce background, I am interested in working on SAP FICO, then you may be allotted or then you may be assigned to FICO related projects. Otherwise, if there is a requirement, if there is a work on related, you may have to learn you may have to work on object. Similarly, you are from BTech background. You have been hired in a particular company as a SAP consultant or associate consultant. They have an opportunity or they have a requirement in FICO module. Even though you are from BTech, they want you to learn FICO. They will train you and they will ask you to work along with a senior consultant and then understand the things. Then you will be becoming a FICO consultant coming from a non-commerce background. In short, your arts background or computer science background or some other background. These things are quite common currently in your SAP FICO environment. There is no rule that you must be from a specific commerce background or you must be from experienced background. Keep this point alone in your mind. 0 to 5 year is entry level. Stick this point as it is in your mind. Whether it is 0, whether it is 5, it is the same. The same treatment will be given, same work you will be doing. The fresher who has 0 experience, fresh pass out, the person who says that I have 3 years of experience, 4 years of experience will be doing the same thing. Now to talk, we both, if we talk honestly now, you have not worked on SAP FICO. Now you are saying that you are learning SAP FICO after completion of your course, after finishing or after learning everything, you will get into the market. But are we actually getting into the market as fresher? Can we say that I do not know about SAP? This will be the first time I am working on SAP. If you give an opportunity, will anybody give us a job?
No, no.
Nobody will give. You go and tell openly the fact so sincerely that I have overall 8 years of experience. Out of 8 years, 5 years I worked in accounting as an accountant, 3 years I worked as some other domain, but now I have learned SAP FICO from different institute or from a different trainer. I practiced every day 4 hours. Now I spent around 6 months. Now I know everything. You ask me any question, I will tell. Please take me for job. Will anybody take? First of all, will anybody take the interview? If you tell these points, first point, nobody will take our interview. Second point, nobody will come forward to give us the job, because this is how the market is. This is how the market is. Market does not want inexperienced consultant. Market always wants experienced consultant. Market wants experienced consultant because only experienced consultant can be sold in the market. Only experienced candidate consultants can be sold in the market. If I take you as a FICO consultant, I know that you have no experience, but I cannot sell you to my client. So I want to make sure if I hire you as a FICO consultant, I can sell you to my client and then I can make profit from your consulting services. So what I will do, let's say I work for ABC company and ABC company is giving me, let's say, 50,000 per month. Now ABC company will have a client. Let's say ABC company will have a client. Now from or on behalf of ABC company, you are providing your consulting services to the client. What ABC consulting or what ABC company will do, ABC company will provide a bill to the client for the services that you have given to them. Let's say ABC company is charging around 1,20,000 per month. ABC company is charging from the client 1,20,000 per month for your services, but ABC company is paying you only 50,000. Now for your services, ABC Consulting or ABC company is earning 70,000 per month. Right? ABC company is gaining 70,000 per month from your services. This is because they are projecting you as an experienced candidate to the client. If ABC company is telling, please take this consultant, he is inexperienced, he is a fresh candidate, but he is very good at the subject. Client will straight away tell, please, I do not want. I am ready to pay 1,30,000, but please give me an experienced candidate or please give me an experienced consultant. I do not want to take any chance. I do not want to take any risk. This is how the reality is. No client wants inexperienced consultants. Every client wants experienced consultant. Every client wants consultant with good knowledge, good business process understanding. Currently in the market, you will find a lot of SAP FICO consultants, but FICO consultants with proper accounting knowledge, FICO consultants who understand the business process are very, very less. Now, if you hold these 2 points, you will have very good opportunity in the market to get the job very quickly. Because even if you compare yourself with the different other people who are attending interviews like you have to practically feel the difference. And when you talk, when the other person is talking, the interviewer should also feel the difference. Yes, this person, whatever he is talking, seems to be more convincing, more practical. So I am going ahead with this candidate. I don't mind his experience, whether he holds a real experience or a projected experience. I don't care. What I want is, I wanted to make sure if I take this candidate, if I put this candidate at my client location, or if I put this candidate in my project, I will be able to manage the project or this candidate will be able to work independently. Even with limited supervision, even with limited guidance, he will be able to work independently. If you are able to provide this confidence, easily you will get selected. Everything is secondary. The way you talk, the knowledge that you are projecting in your interview, that is only the primary skill set that you have to project. Do not consider, do not think much about your experience, all these kind of things. Though these are all important, but not at the beginning. At the beginning, your focus should only be on your subject, your learning, your understanding, your confidence. Once you build these points, automatically everything will come. If you talk about projected experience, within half an hour, every document will be on your WhatsApp. If you pay money, there are different people in the market who will give you the documentation, who will clear your background verification, everything. You need to pay some amount, they will provide you the documentation, everything within 30 minutes or within 1 hour. Complete documentation is on your WhatsApp. So it's a 1 hour activity for you. So you are not supposed to think about all these kind of things which you are supposed to do at the end. Your initial focus is only on the subject. If you know the subject, nobody can beat you. If you are not good at the subject, everywhere you will have to struggle, because that is the only one which is permanent. Rest and all is temporary. If you put some projected experience, that may be there for 1 or 2 years. After that, you don't need that experience. You have the original experience. No point that you will carry forward your profile with projected experience. It's only to get into the job, to get the initial job. That's it. After that, it's all your genuine experience. But practically, how far we are able to think, realistically, are we able to compare ourselves what is happening in the market? What is the expectation from the candidate? What am I learning? Am I up to date with the market standards or not? This is what you need to think about. You are not supposed to go by the course content of any SAP FICO course. All right. So most of you would have asked me about the course content. I would have straight away said that I do not have any course content, or I would have sent a sample to you. But now I'll tell you why you should not go behind, or why you should not go by course content. Now I'll tell you a simple example. Just go to Google, download 10 course contents. Download 10 different course contents from 10 different institutes or from 10 different training persons. This is freely available content on Google. You put SAP FICO course content, you get different content from different sources. Verify what is there inside the course content. Everything will start from company code, assignment, chart of account, fiscal year, all these kind of things. Am I correct? Those who have already gone through the course content? Yes or no?
Yes.
Majoritarily, this is what it will be there. In short, all the configuration settings are there in the course content. Now, on what basis you are going to measure that this course content is valid, this course content is not valid? Some people will measure based on the number of pages. Some institute will give you 10 pages course content. You will tell that this institute is covering a lot of syllabus. They have 10 pages course content. We don't even see what is there inside that. What it is, we don't even care to see, we don't even understand it. Another person will give you, let's say, 2-3 pages. That may be more relevant information, but we simply ignore it. This is very less content they are telling. Maybe they are not teaching everything. Now what you need to do, take this course content on the same Google, open SAP FICO jobs. Take 10 SAP FICO jobs or 5 SAP FICO job descriptions. Okay, take 5 SAP FICO job descriptions. Try comparing your course content with the job description. See how far it is matching. Then you will be surprised. You will be surprised. Or those who have already learnt SAP FICO from some other places, look at the job description to see whether your course has covered how many contents that you're seeing on the job descriptions. Most of the things will not be there in your course content. So that is why I openly tell, do not go by the course content. Know the different things about SAP that you need to know before you learn SAP, not during the course, not after the course. During the course you can do nothing, after the course you can do nothing, because you would have lost your money, you would have lost your time also. Forget about money, but the time that you have invested, practice, the hopes that you have kept, everything will be going wasted. So that should not happen, because this will have a negative impact on your career, which should not happen, right? Because somebody is giving you false information, that should not affect negatively on your career. So for that, it is your responsibility to double check, to double verify before you learn SAP FICO from anywhere. Where you are learning is always secondary, but how you are learning, what you are learning is primary. Alright, so course content, if you want to go by the course content, please verify the course content with job description. Now you will be surprised to know. Now these two are openly available on Google. You can simply open Google SAP FICO course content. On the another tab, open SAP FICO SAP FICO jobs in India or any other country. Look at the job descriptions which are below 5 years only. Read through it, see what points are there, look at the course content, see how many you are able to match from job description to course content. You will understand why I am telling do not go by course content, because that is one of the point where people will get attracted. That is one of the thing where most of the people will get cheated. When I say cheated, it is there on the course content. They will tell that in course content company code is there. I told you how to create a company code. I'll tell this is completed, this is done, syllabus completed, company code I'll tell done. Then I am going to keep on marking that this is completed, this is completed. After 60 days or after 45 days, 90 days, I am telling course is completed. Is this what we are supposed to learn? No, right? It's not about I show you how you do it. It's about I teach you how you are able to manage independently, whether you are able to configure on your own or not. This is a little time taking activity for anybody. It is time taking activity for anybody. Nobody is an exception to it. Including me, nobody is an exception to it. As I said, 1 month it will take for you to understand what is happening on SAP. I clearly tell first 1 month you are not supposed to count your training duration. Your duration should strictly start from 31st day. If it is 3 months, start 3 months from second month onwards. So your 3 months will become 4 months. If I'm talking about 4 months, your 4 months will become 5 months. Because first 1 month you don't understand anything. After 2 months, you will be in a position wherein you are able to understand everything, even without looking at SAP screen. Even if I talk casually on the Excel sheet, you will be able to understand what I mean. Without me showing anything on SAP, you will log into SAP, you will do all the configurations, you will show me the configuration, result, everything. So your target should be something different, where you are able to understand requirement, you are able to take an example, you are able to configure your requirement, and whatever the requirement, whatever the example that you took, you are able to bring the output from SAP. It is not correct if you feel that this is the configuration steps, I am doing it here. Now this is the test environment. In test environment, certain things will not work, but in real time, everything will work. If you are going by these things, remember you are being cheated. If somebody is telling that in practice environment, certain things will not work, remember the settings. This is how you will work in real time. If you are not able to see the output properly, do not mark it as completed. Say that this is, put a question mark there. You have seen it theoretically, only the configuration steps are in front of you, but you did not get the proper requirement, you did not configure it, and you did not see the output from the system. If this is not happening, please do not mark it as completed. Please put a question mark to the topic, whoever is teaching you, including me. If you're not seeing practically on the system, if you do not have a right valid accounting example, do not understand, do not remember those points. Because SAP does not know what is accounting, SAP will only check technically if there are any errors or not. If technically there is no error, it will pass the entry. But do not remember that you executed a report, output has come, report is working fine. This is not the way your user is going to work in a project. Your user is going to verify whether whatever the number that the report is giving, is this correct or not. They will literally take the calculator, they will verify it is supposed to be 100.20. If it is 100.15, he will put a question mark why 0.5 is missing. Am I correct? Because your accounting, whatever you do, is subject to verification, is subject to auditing. Your accounting you are using on SAP. Accounting on SAP is called as SAP FICO. Now, any questions, any confusions, any modifications, any requirement, as a FICO consultant, this is your responsibility. See it, think from the practical, realistic point of view, so that you will be able to connect what is required from you from the market. If you know what is needed, what is expected from you, accordingly you can start your preparation. Accordingly you will build your knowledge, your skill set. If you are not clear with this, blindly whatever I am teaching, you will follow me. But I know that the way I am teaching is not going to help you get a job, but you will not know this. You will realize it only after completion of your course, only after attending first interview, that whatever I have learnt is not helping me. This realization, once you make the payment, once you join a course, once you attend the interview, should never come. But unfortunately, this is the reality in the market. That is why I openly told, have a good network, check with different people, only then take a decision. Wherever you join is your choice. I have no control on it, but make sure you are not wasting your money, you're not wasting your time, you're not playing with your career. If you feel really this is going to help you, if you feel really you're interested, serious in making a career in SAP, you can do it. This is not impossible task. As I said, more than 50% of the candidates will leave SAP even before completing the course. If you do not believe me, go and check, verify. I already mentioned, you will be shocked, surprised to know the results. Half of the people will disappear from the batch before completing the course. Half of the people will quit. Why half of the people are quitting? Different reasons. Now, from the remaining half, how many will attend the interview? Again, from there, another half. Those who are attending the interviews, how many will get job? Another question mark. So, in short, those who are actually giving you the competition, if you learn properly, are very, very less. You don't find anybody as your competitor. Forget about interview. If you go and talk to them, they get scared. That how come you're talking all these points? I do not know these points. So you have to practically talk to the people and then realize that a difference, that the other person is able to feel the difference when I'm explaining. They are appreciating me that I am talking different points, I'm telling the things in a different way. So these kind of points, this kind of feedback is what, if you are able to see, you will be confident on your progress. This is something that you have to measure on a daily basis, because this is not a long course, this is only a 3 to 4 month course. Within 4 months, you want your life to get turned. You want to take a U-turn, but you have very short time. No shortcuts here. No shortcut will work here. You must sit and put your effort. Only then you will see the result. Otherwise, strictly no. 100% you will not get the job if you are not putting in your effort. No matter what. The only option left is go for proxy interviews, go for backdoor jobs. These are not supposed to be the solutions if you really want to get a job in SAP. Right? Now, the reason why we are all talking about this, I want to make sure you get to know the different points so that you will take a wise decision. Now, next point. In this, when you are attending your interview, your first target is always experienced only. For most of the people, your target will be experienced candidate only. You are not going to try, you're not going to try getting the job. Okay, you're not going to try for getting or for attending the interviews as a fresher candidate. Majoritarily, it will be experienced candidate. Even if you have 2 years of gap, it is recommended that you project some experience and then get into the market. You are always selected based on your skill set, based on your knowledge, not based on your experience that you're showing on your resume. There are certain checkpoints that you need to consider before you put the projected experience, which I will tell you in detail. How you will verify what company you are going to put, how do you verify if it is a valid company, if it is not a valid company. There are a lot of blacklisted companies. There are certain companies who will do strict background verification. There are most of the companies who will not do strict background verification. They are fine with your subject, they are fine with your skill set. Somebody will tell you that, do you have form 16 with you? Do you have PF account with you? Right? So these kind of things they will ask you. So do not join such kind of companies where they are doing strict background verification. Attend interviews everywhere, but join in selected company which will work out for you. That's it. Before you do it, before you do it, all these days we will be thinking about getting a job in SAP FICO. I want to complete my SAP FICO course as soon as possible. This is what runs in everyone's mind. Completion of SAP FICO course is the way you want. If you wanted to complete within 15 days, you have different people who will teach you in within 15 days, within 30, 45, 60 days. The other person who is providing you teaching, he knows how to configure the system. He will tell you at a faster track. But at the same pace, you are able to understand practically not possible. So you should always think from your point of view, whether you are at the receiver end, whether you are able to understand, you are able to do it on your own or not. Because it's a simple point. Tomorrow you have to talk about all the topics, in a non-sequential way. When I say in a non-sequential way, they might ask you any topic, they might ask you any question. Irrespective of the topic, irrespective of the question, make sure you are able to answer on the spot. If you're asked about a question from GL module, make sure you have an answer with you immediately. Immediately they might ask asset accounting, taxes, integration, controlling, projects, what is your role? Any question they might ask within your interview time of 30 to 45 minutes. And can we make ourselves ready, prepared in such a way that any topic, any question they can ask, on the spot you are able to answer within 30 minutes? Is this so easy that you can prepare within 2 months or 3 months? Is this practically easy, possible? Because nobody is going to sit the whole day on SAP, right? Everybody is doing some other work, your regular day-to-day other activities. You may be working on your regular job, you may be having some different family commitments. Practically not possible, because nobody is at the age where you just completed your degree and all. You're so enthusiastic to read by heart everything. Everybody will have different commitments. Considering your daily routine, practically relate only from your point of view. Do not compare with others. See what is your daily routine, how many hours can you spare for practicing SAP. Whatever you are practicing on a daily basis, are you able to remember them? Is this SAP practice alone your task for a day? No. You have your family commitments, you have your office commitments, you have different other works. In this busy schedule, you have to practice, you have to remember everything within 30 days, within 60 days, within 90 days. Practically not possible. One fine day you feel that this is becoming very hectic. I'm not practicing on a daily basis. Now the things that I need to practice has become a big list. So what I will do, I will take a break. So this break will become a permanent break. You will never come back to SAP. This is practically happening fact. Because if you're not learning, if you're practicing, you're not practicing, nobody cares. The moment I receive my money, I'm least bothered about you. Why will I care for you whether you're understanding, whether you're practicing or not? According to me, I wanted to complete within 60 days. I wanted to start another batch. But that way is going to work out for me, but it is not going to work out for you. Always think from your point of view whether you are getting benefited or not. It is not about I am completing my course within 2 months. For next 4 months you will be jobless. That's a different story. It's not about how soon you are completing your course. It's about how well you are learning the course and how comfortable, how confidently you are knowing the things and you are able to explain things to the other person. Because unknowingly we will end up wasting a lot of time. The reason why I am telling you all these points, point number one, 80 to 90% whoever joins my course are already trained candidates. 80 to 90% are already trained candidates who come to me. Hardly 10 to 20% I get first time learners. I get only 10 to 20% first time learning candidates. 80 to 90% either already trained from some other places or those who are working as SAP FICO consultants will be in my classes. That is why I tell everything openly, because they understand what I'm talking about. If you are falling under this category, you may be shocked, you may be scared, you may be getting fear that why he is talking like this. But if you are falling under this category, you will understand why I am talking all these points. If you are working on SAP FICO, or if you have already attended, if you have already learned SAP FICO somewhere, you will understand why I am talking all these points even before I take or even before I start your classes. Because I want to make sure if you join, you take the right decision. Make sure you are interested, you are serious to get a SAP FICO job. Because I want to make sure those who are joining will get SAP job, because I'll assure that I will be with you, I will be training you until you get job in SAP FICO. I don't mind the duration, I don't mind how long you will take. As long as you are interested to learn, I am fine. I'm interested to train you without any extra cost. I'll bear the server cost for 1 year if it takes 1 year for you. But I want to make sure you are serious to get a job in SAP FICO. Right? Because most of us, we will not know the different facts, different things which are happening in the market. We end up getting trapped somewhere, and then you will end up giving up your career, you end up giving up your hope, you end up giving up your dream, whatever it is. Because nobody wants to just like that learn SAP FICO for time pass, right? Everybody wants to learn SAP FICO to get the job, to improve your career, to get good salaries, whatsoever. Now, according to you, it's a dream for you. According to you, it's a big task for you. But the other side, the person who is teaching you, the person who is training you may be serious, may not be serious, that you are not aware of. Then how you are going to verify, validate all these points? If you know everything in front of you, if you have the right information in front of you, it will be easy for us to take a decision. Whether you proceed, that if you are really serious, you will proceed forward to continue the training. If you are not really serious, you may feel that okay, this seems to be a little tricky, tough with current situation of mine. I may not be able to invest this much time. I don't have that much time, so I feel that I'll do it later on. Fine, that you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting your money. Good decision. But instead, you should not get in, you should not step in that. Having known that this is not so easy as we feel, we should not do a wrong step. You should not take a wrong step. Later on, you should not feel regret, because most of the people will feel regret. Once you join the courses, once we start the regular sessions, that is where I will talk about the different points. We will be having individual interactions. There you will come to know the different practical realities. So in short, it is only one point. You have to get into the market as an experienced candidate only. This point alone is fact which runs around in the market. If you go as a fresher in the market, jobs are very less. Yes, you're right. But there are no jobs. That is false information. There are companies, there are a lot of companies nowadays who are recruiting freshers. Even when they take fresher, they will provide you 3 to 5 lakh starting package. I'm talking about in India, 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs starting packages they will give for zero experience SAP, a fresh pass out also. Situations have drastically changed now. If you know SAP FICO, if you are good at SAP FICO, you are taken everywhere. Reason being, quality SAP FICO consultants in the market are very, very less. Everybody knows only the configuration. If you ask why you are doing like this, nobody will have the answer. Very, very less. Hardly, very less, more than 50%. Even if you take the experienced candidates, they do not know why they are doing all this. They only know that this is the setting we need to do. If this error comes, you go do the setting, go Google it, go watch a YouTube video, you do it. More than 50%, this is what the current market situation. And if you are exceeding this, if you are learning something beyond this, wherein you are not dependent on Google and all, you are able to understand the business process, you are able to understand the business requirement, you will be surprised to see how the other people will treat you. You will be surprised to see how the other people will treat you, how you receive the respect when you're in any interview, when you're in any organization, when you talk to any client. You will practically feel the difference. Because most of the people, I'm not sure how many of you have interacted with those who are already learning SAP, those who are working as consultants and all. If you talk to them, you will understand the reality. So always try to put a target that when you talk to somebody, the other person will feel that you know something better, or you know things in a different way. You are explaining in a convincing way. Make sure that you get such kind of a feedback. You have to work a little harder to achieve this stage. And this is not so difficult, provided you have the right guidance, provided you learn things, you practice things in a systematic manner. You will never feel that this is difficult. Otherwise, you will be surprised to see whatever you have learned, whatever you have practiced, everything you will be surprised to see that no, this is not the way we do it, this is not the way we do it. For most of the things, you will be marking that this is wrong way, this is wrong way, my understanding is wrong, or my config is wrong, my config is right, but the output is wrong. Because we have not verified this anywhere. When you are posting the entry, just like that you are posting the entry, you are not verifying any report. You're not verifying any report. One simple point I will tell you. Everybody knows TB PNL balance sheet, correct? Everybody knows TB PNL balance sheet. Those who already completed SAP FICO course, or those who are learning SAP FICO course, or those who have these kind of people in your network, ask them whether they have seen these three reports on SAP. Whether they have seen these three reports on SAP, point number one. Point number two, give them a simple accounting thing. Give them a simple accounting task. These are the transactions. This is the amount. This is the amount. Can you show me these figures from SAP? See how many of your friends or whosoever who learned SAP can do this. Tell them create any company of your choice, but just show me these figures from SAP. That's it. If you're talking about TB, let's say you're talking about some transactions, you're getting a profit of let's say 5,000 and your balance sheet is agreeing at let's say 12,000. Let them create any company code, any name, anything, let them do it. You give some transactions, let's say some 5-6 transactions, simple accounting transactions. Tell them to configure a company code, show the trial balance P&L balance sheet for this figure. You will be shocked, you will be surprised. Then let them tell you, or you decide how your company code chart of account fiscal year is helping you. If you're unable to do this, if you're unable to understand, this is your requirement, how do I bring this output from SAP? What settings I need to make to get this output? This is how you have to start thinking. If it is simple, if it is easy, you don't have to talk about, you don't have to think about simple, easy things, because you can anyway do it. Talk about points which are a little tricky, which are a little complicated, so that these things you have to learn. These things, if you are understanding, tomorrow there is no point that you will face any problem. Tomorrow you don't have to struggle, you don't have to depend on anybody. you can work independently, peacefully. Now, anyways, you are learning. Why do you want to learn things which are simple, which are easy, things which you can learn for free of cost in YouTube, Google, or any different sources? Why do we want to make payment, pay money, and then learn it? It's a simple question that we need to put to ourselves. If it is about creating a company code, chart of account, fiscal year, these kind of settings, post a document, display AP, AR, do we not get these videos? Do we not get this content for free of cost in the online platform or not? Yes, no? To set up a company code,
Yes.
to do the basic configurations, to do basic reporting and all, are we not getting this content for free of cost on YouTube, Google, different
Mm,
platforms?
yes, sir, we can.
Right, this is all a free content which is openly available in the different platforms, but still we make the payment, we learn the same thing which is available for free of cost in the open market. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Still we make payment and we learn the same thing at lower cost than how it is available in the market. Then we have to think, we have to put a question mark at what level we are thinking, and how confident we are on our learning, how confident, how sure we are making a career on SAP FICO. This simple point will answer your question. When you know that all these things you can learn for free of cost in the open market, why are we paying? Why are we joining? Point number one. If there is something that you can learn for free of cost, learn from free of cost there only. No point that you pay money to me or to anybody else. You are paying money to understand why you are doing this, to understand the process, correct? If you are in a project, how you will work. If the intention is only about knowing the configuration, config is available for free of cost. How to do it, that is also free of cost. If you want to see the screenshot and then do it, the screenshot materials are free of cost. If you want to see a person doing it live, these videos are also for free of cost on YouTube. When everything is free of cost, why do we want to make payment? Why do we want to waste our money, waste our time at the end for no result? And after learning FICO course and all, again we are dependent on YouTube, different videos. Am I correct? Correct? Huh?
Yes.
You learn SAP FICO from a trainer or you learn SAP FICO from an institute. You are again watching SAP FICO videos of different trainers, different institute from YouTube. Then you are trying to learn from there. Why? Then what is the point that you paid a course fee or something to some other trainer or some other institute? Which means later on you're realizing that whatever you are learning there is not correct, or whatever you're learning there may not be helpful, may not be sufficient. If you're learning from different sources to enhance, to improve your skill set, to add different points, that's a positive sign. But if you are watching the topics that you have already covered from your trainer, from another YouTube video, then it's a negative sign. That is not a positive sign. Correct? Agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Right? So these points should not be there. Like, we have to be very practical, you have to be very open, you have to be very realistic. If you're not practical, if you're not open, if you're not realistic, things will not work out in SAP FICO. I am telling you openly at the beginning itself. I have no reason to tell all these points at the beginning because I know some of you may not join if I talk like this, but still I am fine with it. I'm fine even if I get half of you, those who really feel, those who really understand what is SAP FICO, what you need to do to get a job. But I don't want, if you're with me, I don't want you to become a victim of SAP FICO. In the market, you will find a lot of victims. Victim, I mean to say, they learn SAP FICO. They feel that I have not learned properly. I don't know many things. I'm not confident. I'm unable to clear my interview. So I don't know real time. All these things people will be talking. So why are they talking about all these points? Because they realize that they were not taught properly or their training was not sufficient. Now their batch is over, nobody is caring them. Now they are on the road all of a sudden. Now nobody is there to guide or help them. So that should not be the case with you. So I'm openly telling, first 1 month you will not understand anything. Not only you, anybody will not understand anything in first 1 month. You will have lot of confusions to look at the different screens, understand what setting is happening. Today you make a setting, why you made this setting, it will take another 10 days for you to understand why this setting is done today. But what we will do, we will make this setting, we will understand that okay, this setting is this much only, I am perfect with this. But it is not reality. That is not reality. This is setting, the impact, the requirement, reason, functionality you need to understand. At the initial stage with our level of experience, that much detailed knowledge is not required. But it is always better you learn in that way. So that tomorrow when you go to the market, I openly tell you that you can talk to anybody as if you have more than 6 years of experience. For sure, 100% you can talk to anybody as if you have genuine 5+ years of experience in SAP FICO. In that level, you will be talking to anybody. I'll give you that much confidence. I'll give you that assurance to you. That's why I openly tell, go verify with what you are learning right from day one with people who are working on SAP as FICO consultants, that this is what my trainer is teaching. This is how I am practicing. Is this right or wrong? Go verify with SAP FICO consultants. If anybody says no, this is wrong, come back and ask me. If anybody says no, this is wrong, you can come back and put a question to me. You said this, I verified with my people who are working on FICO consultants. They said no, this is wrong. I will tell you why I told you this way. Right? Tomorrow when you talk to somebody, make sure the other person will not tell that you are wrong. Just give me a minute. Sorry. Yes, I was saying, when you talk to somebody, make sure the other person feels that you have more than 5 years of experience in SAP. That should be your target, and you have to work towards achieving this target. When you tell somebody that you are trained on SAP, the other person should not believe that you are a trained candidate. Because the way you talk, the way you present, the way you explain should be beyond a trained candidate. In fact, it is at par. It is to be at par of a consultant who has more than 5 years of SAP FICO experience. At that level, I want you to talk. So your target is not to complete the SAP FICO. Your target is to make sure that wherever you go, to whomsoever you talk, the person will tell that what you're talking is correct. And tomorrow, if you come across any requirement, tomorrow, if you come across any situation where you do not know about that particular thing, I will teach you, I'll give you the knowledge how you will work on it without having any experience on a particular topic. You will not depend on Google, you will not depend on YouTube. You will be in a position to think about the requirement from your own understanding, and you will be able to experiment, get the result from your side. That is how we will be doing, that is how we will be practicing SAP system. We will not do things in a left and right way just for the sake of completing the course. It is to make sure tomorrow when you go, you talk to somebody, the other person should not tell that you are wrong. That should be my target, that should be your target as well. Tomorrow if somebody says no, what you are telling is wrong, Please, you do not want to hear these kind of things from anybody. I also do not want you to come back to me stating that, sir, you told me this, I talked the same thing to the other person, they said I am wrong. I don't want you to tell me this point. Point number one. Point number two, I don't want you to face this situation. Whatever you talk, make sure you sound confident, you explain according to your explanation. Don't sound as if you're reading by hearting all these kind of things. Nothing is required. And I'll make sure even if you talk about the basic settings or baseline configuration of SAP, the other person will be shocked, the other person will be surprised with the way that you explain. So that kind of level or that kind of a confidence is what I want you to gain. So for that you have to work, for that I have to work. So if my target is to make you get a job, if your target is also to get you a job, then that is where this will work out. If I am thinking from a different perspective and if you are thinking from a different perspective, we will end up doing the same mistake. So that mistake should not happen, which means your target and my target should be the same. So I'll be successful only when you get the job, and you feel satisfactory only when you get the job. So for me, there is nothing. I'm not going to lose anything if you do not get a job, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? But when you get the job, it is you who is going to become successful candidate in the market, and it gives me pleasure to feel that okay, he learned from me and then he got a good job. So at both the sides, you will be the beneficial person and you will get benefited. And you have to see it from a different way. The way you look at the system, the way you understand, right from the way you look at the system, right from the way you configure the system, right from the way you are analyzing the issues, should get changed from the beginning onwards. It takes a little time because we will be spending less time on SAP, we will be spending more time on Excel sheet, understanding the requirements, understanding how SAP behaves, how system behaves, what setting you need to make to get what kind of a result. If these points you are able to understand, SAP works more or less in the similar way in most of the topics, in most of the areas. Okay, for most of the topics, for most of the areas, SAP will work in the similar way. Let's say there are 100 errors, hardly there are 4 or 5 ways of solving it. Your 100 errors can be classified into 4 or 5 categories. If you know these categories, whether you have 100 errors, you have 1000 errors, doesn't make any difference for you. Otherwise, you will see every error with fresh mindset. Don't see that way. Split it. Okay, this error may be because of this reason. This error may be because of this reason. Have you tried this? Have you given like this? This? Talk casually. Don't look at the system. Talk casually. Don't look at the system. If you straight away on the dot to a solution, nobody is going to get impressed with your explanation. Don't go for the perfection, always go for some kind of explanation which will make the other person feel comfortable, confidence with you. Whether it is needed or not needed, try to ask or try to put certain questions, certain points that the other person feels comfortable, confidence that you are good at subject. This is especially needed at your level, exclusively in your interviews, exclusively in your initial jobs. Otherwise, very difficult. Because how can I know or how can somebody decide that you are skilled, you have good knowledge, good understanding, unless you speak out something or unless you prove yourself, correct? You are not going to tell, or somebody is not recommending that this guy is a very good experienced candidate. He may not have experience, but he is very good at understanding, he is very good at configuration. Nobody is going to believe in it. You have to practically perform, you have to practically prove what you are right from day one. Because as a FICO consultant, you are individual contributor. Nobody will do your work if you are absent for one day. Let's say I am taking leave today. Whatever the work I need to do, I have to do tomorrow. Nobody will do on my behalf today. It's not like a teamwork. If I'm not there, another FICO consultant will do my work. It is not going to happen in FICO consulting. If I'm on leave for 2 days, for these 2 days, my work will be on hold, or I might ask somebody to help to guide the user, but not to do the config, but not to do make any changes in the system, because they do not know what is the requirement, what I have done, what is there in my mind. They do not know. Correct? Whether I tested, whether I made a config, what did I discuss with the client user, I do not know. Sorry, the other person is not aware because I have not shared with them. These points are all driving your work. If these points are not there, then it will be very, very difficult. So you have to see from practical point of view what exactly you will perform, what exactly is expected from you when you are working in a organization as a FICO consultant. Right from day one, assume as if you are in a project. Don't think that you are learning to attend an interview. That is anyways going to happen. Think beyond that. After that, what next? You got the job. Now you need to join the organization. You go to the office on day one, and everybody will come and ask you that, okay, hi, good morning, and all. They will tell, where did you work before? How many topics you are aware? What are your strong areas? Which clients you worked before? This kind of a questions people will ask you. Are we confident enough to answer these points? Let's say all of a sudden they say that, Ajay, there is an issue from accounts payable or asset accounting or taxation. Can you please solve this? Now you said that you have an experience of 3 year, 4 year. You have not even received your laptop. You have not even received any KT access and all. They're simply telling there is one issue. Can you please look into this? You may have to work on it. You cannot say that I do not know. How will you handle these kind of situations, these kind of scenarios? This is what you have to think. This is what you have to understand. This is what you have to learn during your training. If it is only the configuration, as I said, it's a free content in the market. I don't know why we still make the payment to learn the freely available content. We purchase it for low level quality. Whatever is there and for free of cost in the market is very good quality. You get different variety of content through which you can learn and understand to a great extent. But instead we still make the payment, we still pay money to different institutes or to different trainers, and we end up getting less quality content. But unfortunately we don't realize this. That is the problem. If you're not realizing, that is not anyone's mistake, it is that person's mistake. That is the first failure, that why you will not get SAP FICO job. That's the first mistake that we do, why we don't get SAP FICO job. Reason, you are not able to decide where to join, you are not able to decide what you are learning. Whatever is taught, you are blindly following it. Is that not the first mistake of ours? Right, whatever I am teaching, blindly you are following, you are not understanding anything, or you are practicing or not practicing, I do not know. But what will happen? Every day I keep on telling, every day you keep on attending. I ask any doubts, you said no doubts, everything is clear. At the end of the 60th day or 45th day, 90th day, I will tell Tata bye bye, over. I will start taking another batch. I don't know what will happen to you. I will simply tell one word, please practice again, spend good time, practice again, you will get good job, all the very best. Is that going to work out? No, it is not going to work out. Practically, if we talk, that is not going to work out. So you will end up finding another trainer. So that those kind of simple mistakes, we do not do this with intention, but these are unintentional because of lack of knowledge, lack of awareness. We do not have sufficient information with us. We do not have sufficient knowledge. We do not have somebody who can guide us, do this, learn like this, practice like this. This is what you need to know to get the interview calls. These are the topics that you need to prepare. This is how you need to explain. You need guidance until you get a job. Otherwise, it is not going to work out. Practically, this is not going to work out if you do not have guidance right from beginning until you get the job. Literally, this is not going to work out. Those who do not believe me, you will realize what I am talking, why I am talking in future. Later on, you will realize why I am talking all these points at the beginning itself. Any questions? You can ask if you have any questions.
Hello,
Yes.
sir. I have a question. Uh, will client and then consulting company both take an interview
It depends. In some companies, there will be two interviews, but in most of the companies, there will be no two interviews. There will be one interview only.
from consulting?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, points you have, you can ask or you can share.
And while doing on after configuration, while posting on any transaction like supplier invoice level, so we have created a GL master, and normal FB60. If we take, we are selecting supplier and we are selecting one GL. Okay. Once click on simulate, there is a vendor sorry, expense account to vendor account is getting. Once it is posted, a different GL is coming. So that was I observed. Can you correct me, sir?
When you post, which GL is coming?
Uh,
Balance
I
sheet account or
think
P&L account?
balance sheet account.
That is your main ledger. When you are posting, you are going to give supplier account. Your supplier account is a subledger account. Your supplier account will be connected to a main ledger account, which is a reconciliation GL account. Whenever you post any
Okay.
accounting entry, it has got two views. One is entry view, the other one is ledger view. In
Mm-hmm.
the entry view, it will give you the supplier account number. In the ledger view, it will not display the supplier account number. It will display the accounts payable ledger number, main ledger number.
But we are not posting. No, still we are just simulating. That time itself, supplier
Yes,
name displaying.
even during your simulation, you have two levels of simulations. Point number one,
Okay.
entry view simulation. Point number two, general ledger view simulation.
Okay. And this type of and I have small doubt also. When you're creating the like PO and GRN, so there is a inventory account to GRIR account, right? So how the system these GLs taking and where we are comparing, and what level we are doing everything, you are going to explaining, right?
Yes,
How the
we will see
posting,
everything practically. Yes.
and posting key also where we are default setup is there something, right, sir?
If I show you an Excel sheet, so you'll understand what points you are asking.
Mm.
Let me open an Excel sheet.
If I open f-02, there is a posting key 4050 is automatic is coming, right? Is there any
Now
automatic
you're
setup
talking
is there?
about FIMM integration, right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
So this is the way that we normally talk about FIMM integration. These things I have not yet shown on the SAP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so even before we
Yeah.
see it on SAP, all these points I'll be writing.
Okay.
Okay, I'll write everywhere at what there is financial impact. Okay, what are the points that you need to know about everything? And we'll
Mm-hmm.
take an example from where you're taking, what price we're taking.
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll write what are the different prices that you need to know,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll write the same example, and I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you from where the values will come. When you do GRN, your PO quantity multiplied by material master price. When
Mm-hmm.
GRIR account is getting credited, PO price multiplied by PO rate.
Mm-hmm.
These points and all I'll explain theoretically on the Excel sheet. On SAP, I will create the same purchase order for same material, for same quantity. I'll show the same accounting result.
Yeah, that this I understand. So I have in ledger level, GL accounts, right? Inventory account, GRIR credit account. So
I'll show everything,
in
all the
Mhm.
reports which are associated with this transaction. Every report I'll show on the system. Your inventory report, your vendor account report, all these reports I'll show practically on the system.
Okay,
Before I show
like
everything, I'll put all the
uh,
numbers here. All
okay,
the numbers
if
where and all this is affected, exact number on all the reports, wherever this is going to affect, every report will be displayed on your SAP screen.
okay, sorry for this asking again. So, like what I observed is, can you correct me? So, system how it is taking GRIR account, it means like we are defining the maybe person or FICO person, I don't know. So OBYC there, right? So there itself account determination we are doing, right, sir, for this.
Correct. One question, you
And
are already trained on SAP or you are working on SAP?
I'm in working, but not in the FICO level. So I'm still doing the R&D and daily what is remembering the things. These things I'm doing. So, but
So you are currently working as SAP consultant.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So because of that, you are saying linking is not connecting, right? That is the reason I joined
Yes, that is what
the
I'm going to
concepts.
explain. Most of the doubts, most of the questions that comes from your mind, majority of the questions points I will list out from my side.
Okay.
Okay. If you are on the
These
other
were the
side,
regions. When you understand the transaction level and how the system is taking, where we are conferring, that is the once we understand this level, it's better to understand every scenarios level also, right? So,
correct, correct. That is why I don't
oh,
show config. I don't give importance. I don't share any config documents. I only make you
okay.
understand the requirement. If you understand the requirement, you will anyhow get it done on the system because you know what you wanted to achieve from the system. You will play with the configuration. You will do this setting, that setting. It will work out.
Hmm.
Maybe two, three ways. Correct? You do option number one.
Yeah.
It may not work. Remove it. Option number two. Option number three. Either of these three combinations will give the result. Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Thus,
Yeah.
anyways, you are going to experiment it. Whether I teach, I don't teach, it has got no relevance to it. That everybody will be
Oh.
experimenting, but for doing that experiment, you need to understand the requirement. You need to understand a scenario with practical figures. Because your experiments, let's say, error is not coming, but the financial impact, is it correct? That is what you are going to validate, right? That is
Yeah.
called as your business requirement. That is where we will be more focusing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Recently, I have also joined as a SAP FICO consultant, and what I see in my organization, we cannot work in isolation. We must have some basic knowledge about ABAP also. So, is there a concept a basic ABAP for functional consultants? Because I see my seniors working, and sometimes they have to open the program also, give the logics for customized reports, and some forms also, Adobe forms and such kind of things, Badis and Bapis. So,
Yes.
are we going to touch those things also?
Yes. At the end, I'll explain all these points. What are the different BAPIs we use and what are the baddies? what are the user exits, what is your basic debugging, if you are to give any logic,
Yes, yes, yes.
if any report which is giving incorrect result. Let's say user will tell till
Mhm.
yesterday this report is working fine, but today wrong values are coming.
Yes, yes. Debugging is mostly very frequently used in projects.
Correct. So how you will do the initial level of testing, how you will try to
Hmm.
understand how the program is working and all. These points I'll
Hmm.
explain with practical examples practically on the system.
Yes, yes. Because at that time we always feel left out, like we don't know these things and all.
Correct.
Yes. And sir, talking about
Yeah.
FI, SD, and MM integration, what most of the trainers do, like they only give details about OBYC and VKO and such types of settings. But like we don't get the knowledge of the enterprise structure in MM, SD, and what are the different transactions, and like in MM there are some certain movement types and various other things like creation of PO, and talking about the SD side, sales order and everything. So are we going to cover those things also? Like the
Yes,
same
we
thing,
will
we are not
create.
going to work in isolation as an FICO consultant. Most of the times we have to
Right.
connect with them and give the solutions.
Yes, we will be working on all those, and I'll make sure that every one of you is able to create purchase order, and then you are able to
Mhm.
run the complete MM cycle. Similarly, you are
Mhm.
able to create a sales order, and you will be able to
Mhm.
run the full cycle until bank reconciliation statement.
Okay, okay.
So that is the reason if you see this is related to your MM integration. I have not configured anything, but I have listed different points so that when I am on the system, when I talk about configs, I want you to understand what I am talking about first. If I don't give you a
Mhm.
basic understanding, basic overview, whatever I configure, everything will be a bouncer. You will not understand anything.
Correct, correct.
First, we need to make sure that we feel comfortable with it, because these are not certain topics just like that you can learn. If you talk about FIMM
Mhm.
integration, it's a 5 minute setting. OBYC, maintain the GL account, it's all done. But as a
Yes.
FICO consultant, when you're in a project, there is something called SIT or system integration testing. In system
Mhm.
integration testing, what will happen? You have to test the MM cycle along with the MM consultant. What will MM consultant do? MM consultant will create a purchase order. He will do the GRN. He will perform the invoice receipt. He may be doing with you or he may be doing alone, because there is no rule that you have to work and MM consultant will also have to work together. Now it's all virtual work environment, all remote working. You may be working in Delhi, I may be working in Mumbai or some other location. So your time, you may be working parallelly for two projects, I may be working parallelly for two projects. Agree?
Yes.
So what I will do, I will do testing from my side as a MM consultant, and I'll simply give you an email. Over the email I will write, dear SAP FICO consultant, we have created a purchase order, please validate the accounting and then confirm. So what they will do, they'll put point number one, local purchase order number this, import purchase order number this, asset asset purchase order number this, consumption or consumable purchase order number this, STO purchase order this, intercompany purchase order this. For every purchase order they will complete the cycle. An official email will be sent to you from the MM side to validate the accounting, to validate the integration. Now what normally we have to do there, you need to open each and every purchase order, go to the purchase order history, look at the GRN document, display GRN document. Similarly, look at the invoice document, verify the accounting entry. What are you verifying there? Are you verifying if accounting entry is posted or not? If you see accounting entry debit credit posted, if you are going to reply that accounting is fine, what you are doing is wrong. Correct?
Correct.
You need to verify. You need to first understand the purchase order. In the purchase order, what material is purchased? Is this a raw material? Is this a finished material, packing material, semi-finished material? Open the material master, which valuation class is assigned to this material. For this valuation class, what is the GL account maintained? Where do you verify the GL account? You go to OBYC. Every time going to OBYC is not the right approach. The way you are looking at the system also reveals what kind of knowledge you are holding. Go to table. Go to T030 table. Pass the GL account that is getting posted. Put your chart of account, put the GL account number in T030 table, click on execute. You will get the list of valuation classes, the different conditions on which the GL account is getting determined. From there, try to understand, okay, this material is finished goods, GL account is coming as finished good. Okay. Second one, material, the GRIR account. What is the amount? From where the accounting entry is coming? What a GL is coming? If it is correct, yes. Next one, verify the amount. What is the purchase order quantity? What is the purchase order price? Which material is used? What is the material master price? Is this valuated at standard price or is this valuated at moving average price? You have to look at all these points. If there are taxes, what is the tax code maintained in the purchase order? If it is 12% tax code, is 12% tax posted or not? If there are any discounts, if there are any other conditions, is the condition relevant to GL account is getting posted or not? All these criteria you need to verify and then confirm to the consultant stating, I have verified the accounting impact, everything seems to be fine. Then he will move his configuration to development or to the production. If something goes wrong, the blame will come on FICO consultant. They will simply tell, no, this has been already verified by FICO consultant. Please find the attached email from FICO consultant stating integration accounting entries are correct. Now tomorrow if something goes wrong, you will be questioned. On what basis you have confirmed this is correct? Do we have an answer for it? These are the situations what we need to consider. But for our level of experience, you may not be facing these situations, but your target is always this level when you are learning. So that when you are in the real environment, when you are in the project, there is no point of a fear, there is no point of a feeling uncomfortable, there is no point of a feeling low confident. Correct? Agree with me? Those who are already
Exactly,
working.
exactly. Yes, sir.
So this is what should be your target. As I said, when you are learning, always target, you talk to a person who is holding more than 5 years of SAP FICO experience. That person should say that what you are talking is correct. Because nobody is perfect on SAP. I do not know everything, you do not know everything. But the skill set, the mindset that you have to develop is that even if you do not know something, make sure you are able to work, you are able to handle that. That skill set, that knowledge is what you have to develop. That is what you are supposed to learn. Otherwise, it's all depending on the client. Same configuration will be used in different ways. Same functionality will be used in different ways. Correct?
Correct.
Right? So there is no fixed way, there is no standard way of using system. It differs, it depends based on the business requirement, based on the client requirement. If you do not understand this right from the beginning, you will be confused like anything. You see that in that client they are using like this, in this client they are using like this. Why? It is their business process, it is the other's business process. If you are able to understand this business process, it will be easy for you to connect the dots, it will be easy for you to work confidently, it will be easy for you to interact with the users or explain or work independently without having any confusion. Otherwise we will end up getting confused. And even to receive the support when you are working, actually everybody will ask you what is the requirement. Unfortunately, you cannot even explain, you cannot even get support from other person if you are unable to understand. Let's say I am working on SAP FICO as a consultant. I recently joined. Assume that you are already working on SAP FICO. Now I am in need of help. I have called you or I have texted you. Sir, please help me. I have a client requirement. There is an urgent issue. I need to solve this today. Are you going to understand what is there in my mind? Or you are going to ask me what is the problem, what is the requirement?
I'm going to ask.
right? You are going to ask me what is the problem, what is the requirement. Forget about the solution. First, understand the problem. Make sure you are able to explain the problem, that the other person is able to understand the problem. Forget about solution. Solution comes automatically if you are clear with the problem. Correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Majoritarily, we will not be clear with the problem. The moment you see that I am running this, then error is coming, you simply take that error message, you start putting on the Google. But another fact is, Google, SAP will give you same error message for 10 type of errors.
Mm-hmm.
There are 10 reasons for the error. For these 10 reasons, SAP will give you same error. When you Google that
Correct.
error message, you will be misled, you will be misguided. Google will tell, go to this setting, open this T code, maintain, put this tick mark, remove this tick mark, add this setting, remove this setting. Blindly we will be doing, the issue will be further more complicated.
Yes.
So these kind
Success
of
rate is
mistakes,
very low when we Google the things, like only
correct,
50%.
because it is always based on the requirement. First of all, we are not clear with the requirement. Whatever you do, like you are giving a shot. Whether it works, it doesn't work, nobody knows. In some cases, what will happen, your client also will not test it. When you say that I have done the changes, he will simply tell, okay, move to production, we'll see directly in production.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody will have that much time in reality. They feel that, okay, as a consultant, you have tested everything from your side. In fact, that is what is supposed to happen, correct? But we feel that we don't know. Anyway, client will test, he will tell if there is any problem. He is thinking that as a consultant, you tested everything. You are believing in client, client is believing in you. End of the day, what will be the result? You got my point, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
This is the reality. Because you should think from your level of experience at the beginning. Expectation from you is not so much. It is only the minimum that you are able to manage. You are not creating problems. You don't solve the problem, but please do not create additional problem. That is the requirement.
Correct.
But we do not know whether to ask a certain question, whether not to ask a certain question. We end up doing things in a different way with our confused state of mind. That thing should not be there. For you to come out of that state, the way you learn, the way you practice from the beginning, the way things will get into your mind on SAP FICO should be something very, very different. Only then you will create an impact. Otherwise, you will be the one of the other people who are working as FICO consultant.
Mm.
But you have to create an impact, right? The other person should feel that this guy has good skill, he is very skilled, or he is working in a good manner. So I am confident about him that I'll take him in my next project also. In your organization, your project manager or your team lead should feel that I want this candidate in my next project also. So you should
Correct.
receive such kind of a feedback response when you're working. So you have to target those things. Don't think about I have to get a job, I have to clear my interview. If you are thinking,
And
if
sir,
you are
there is one
learning,
more thing, like if we talk about the organization, that's okay. But like what I feel now is like we hesitate talking to the business also, the users. So that thing is also very important that we have the confidence to communicate with them without any fear and
correct.
such things. Because they also give feedback to our leads and managers.
Yes, they will openly tell that your consultant is not understanding our problem. We talk about the basic accounting, he is not even able to understand what we are talking.
Yes.
Because end of the day, it's all about accounting. If you're unable to understand how it is affecting your financials, it's of no use what you're working as a FICO consultant.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone?
Sir, are we covering the e-invoicing, sir?
E-invoice we will not be covering.
Okay.
I'll give you certain insights about it, but we will, because not everything can be configured. To do e-invoicing, you need to have interfaces and all,
Yeah.
which we cannot establish in the test servers. But I'll explain you the concept, how this will done. The basic overview understanding I'll share.
Okay. This iDocs we are covering, right?
iDocs we will cover, but one point related to iDoc. When you talk about iDoc, in iDoc, it's a big rumor again in the market that as a FICO consultant, you will be working on iDocs. Point number one, iDoc is related to FICO or ABAP.
ABAP.
ABAP, who will create iDoc, who will create the connections and all?
ABAP consultant.
ABAP consultant. As a functional consultant in iDocs, there are two ways. One is receiving the iDoc, the other one is sending the iDoc. In short, inbound, outbound.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you are receiving an iDoc. So from where, which system, what information you're receiving? First thing, it is identified. Let's say you're receiving something called customer master. Okay, you're receiving customer master from your external system or from a third party system. Now, for that, as a functional consultant, let's say that you are creating that customer account in the SAP. First of all, to create a customer account, you must be aware what information is needed, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you will be telling that in order to create a customer in SAP, these are the fields or this is the information that is needed. Accordingly, this information will be extracted from the source system or from your legacy or external system. Once the information is extracted from the source system, it has to be brought into SAP. When it is brought into SAP, option number one, they can brought the data in flat file. Option number two, they can brought in the data in XML file. Now this data will have to be delimited with a separator, either a tab delimited, comma delimited, pipe delimited. Okay, let's say this is delimited by comma. What you are going to do, for every comma, you are going to treat this as a next record or a new record. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
So in your iDoc, let's say you are receiving 10 fields. First comma will tell first field, second comma will tell second field. Now each field you have a logic. First field is customer name, second field is customer last name, third field is customer search term, fourth field is postal box, fifth field is reconciliation account, and so on. Now when you receive this information is received and placed in a folder in A11 by the technical team. You have nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Once data has come into SAP, from there data has to be processed to create a customer. Nobody will create customer manually, it has to get created automatically, correct?
Yeah.
For this to happen, option number one, you will use a BDC recording. Option number two, you will use standard BAPI for customer creation. Let's say either you are using a BDC program or you are using a BAPI for it. In that, you need to provide the field mapping. First data, customer name is coming. Customer name, please take this into XYZ table, this particular field. Table field mapping you have to provide to the ABAP consultant. Based on that, ABAP consultant will do the respective programming and straight away he will update in the backend to get the customer created. In this process, if there are any errors, you will have to look at the errors. What errors are coming and how to verify the iDoc. But the remaining all part is the pure task of your technical consultant. So we have to understand when it comes to iDoc, what exactly you do as a FICO consultant. To that extent only you have to talk to anybody. But if you're talking that I will create iDoc, I'll go to this screen, I'll create the connection and all, immediate question you get is, why did you do this? Because no FICO consultant does this in any project. You are telling that you are doing all these things. You're getting my point?
Yeah.
Because for the other activities, you have the respective consultant in the project. Now, whether you wanted to talk like an experienced candidate or you want to talk like a trained candidate, the difference is understood here. So that is where people will feel that even though you explain everything properly, every question properly, but still people will get rejected in the interviews. Anybody heard these points? This kind of people,
Yes, yes.
because they tell everything which is not your work. It is actually not done by you. You are telling that you have done all these things. I came to know that you do not have experience, because we should not load data in our mind in such a way that it is not related to you. If you are working as a FICO consultant, know, understand to the extent of a FICO consultant involvement is there on that particular activity. Even if you are knowing the complete picture, but be very, very specific. This is what you do. This is done by the other person. So that confidently you can talk in your interview or to the other person. Correct?
Yes.
Otherwise, if they say that no, I don't know IDOC, you don't know IDOC also, then you may be under an impression that okay, IDOC is also configured by FICO consultant. Because we do not know anything, we start feeling that okay, I should know about this also. So,
Like a small doubt having. So there is a last uh, 3 years back I just seen because of what is PO is created in other system, non-SAP system. Okay. And then it automatically triggering the in SAP system. Is this interface or something, sir? My
interface.
integration, right?
Interface. Anything
In,
related to the other system is pure interface. Integration
okay.
is within SAP.
Okay.
Within the same client is integration between two clients, between two SAP systems, or SAP and non-SAP is pure interface.
Okay. So this knowledge also needed for FICO consultants, right?
Understanding is required.
Mm-hmm.
Working knowledge, work experience is not required, because not everybody will work on these areas. But yes, you must know at least some information about it. That tomorrow you can say that yes, I know what it is. If I'm asking you, do you know IDOC? Your answer is no. Have you worked on this any interfaces? Your answer is no. For everything, if you are telling no, do I have any reason, valid point for me to select you?
No.
But you are telling no, but I'm not asking you to configure in front of me, correct?
Yes, yes.
I just
Because
want
of
you to tell me.
some interviews, are you worked on interface, working related experience? Do you
If you
have?
have
So,
not worked on it,
mhm.
if you really worked on SAP FICO, if you have not worked on any interface, it is not mandatory to work on any interface. You have to confidently tell no. In my project, we had no interfaces, or I did not involve in any interfaces. But you should be telling these points confidently. If you are doubtful for these kind of a questions, normally what we will do, our facial expression will get changed, your tone will get changed. Correct?
Yes, because of nowadays so many integration FS, Concur, this many interfaces having, right? So that is the reason I am just
Right.
asking.
Yeah, right. But we have to be confident enough that not every consultant will work on interfaces. If you know these points, that you can confidently tell that no, I did not get any chance to work on interfaces, but I am interested to work, learn on these interfaces. But the way you
Okay.
talk matters there, right? If I'm simply telling no, no experience, you're getting what I'm saying? For
Yeah,
most of
yeah,
these
right.
kind of questions, we simply tell no and we cut the topic there. Obviously, you get rejected. But you talk something, at least you must be aware of some information, right?
Yeah,
That
theoretical knowledge,
right,
something.
that should be in a systematic way. Now, the way I told you the IDOC,
Okay.
don't tell that IDOC where IDOC is configured, which T code you reprocess the IDOC, all this kind of not required.
Mhm.
What they want to know, if you really work on IDOC, whatever you worked, only that part I want. So why will I want you to tell me the ABAP part portion of IDOC? Valid point, huh?
Yeah.
I want you to tell what was your role in IDOC.
Mhm.
If it is sending, what data you have sent from which table, how did you give the logic to ABAP, and how did this data go out at high level, because you must be part of the testing. Agree?
Yeah.
When you are part of testing, at least tell me the cycle. Okay, how was the business process, or what was the process flow? Explain me that. I'm more than happy with it. Whether you really worked or not worked, I don't care, but the way you are explaining, you are giving an effort to explain me, that is what is going to convince me, which will make me to give a positive remark or positive feedback.
Okay.
Clear?
In yes, in we are covering ACH related configuration also, right, sir? Here,
ACH,
yeah,
automated clearinghouse.
yes, yes,
I'll give you an overview about those topics, because those are used only in selected countries like US and all.
yes. Most of US countries only they will use. So because of some SAP tools, we are configuring everything. Codes level everything also what is the data needed so as per bank data required.
All right. These things we will be, exploring collectively. I will also gather the information and then share it with you.
Okay, so there
Okay.
is no such type of configuration in HANA level, so because of I did not seen still, so
No, this most of these integrations and all are pre-enabled in HANA, so you don't have to make certain settings and all in HANA.
okay, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. All right then.
Uh,
So let me.
Hi
Yes.
Ajay.
Somebody. Yeah. Hi.
So actually, I just wanted to check whether you will be covering this conversion or any migration projects because now we have S4HANA, right?
Yes, I'll be explaining how do we work in a conversion or migration project. How do we migrate your ECC data into S4HANA? I'll give you insights about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Let me stop the recording.